Joe, thank you. The city is moving ahead with plans mapping out its political future. Jacksonville is under a federal court order to come up with new boundaries for city council and school board districts. The judge ruled that the previous map was drawn based on race, which is illegal. One of those who sued and won that court order had this message for council members drawing the new maps.
This is your maroon map.
News4 Jax reporter Jim Pickett covered today's meeting since Jim's report last night at 6 that showed the public did not get a chance to speak before the council took action. Jim, changes have now been made?
Well, Tom, first off, what you're listening to behind me, well, that's noise from the monthly art walk going on. But apparently, city council members were listening to our report last night. As you mentioned, they changed some of their procedures. Before this meeting began, these maps were available, a little bit bigger maps on that. Plus, the public had a chance to speak before the council really began their discussion.
When Aisha Franklin Covington ripped up the proposed map, she was making a point. She was one of the plaintiffs who filed suit, the suit that led to the city council being forced to come up with new boundaries.
The judge has been very clear about her rulings concerning the Voting Rights Act, and we have to follow the law. These meetings are a waste of our time. We're not here for a fight. Frankly, we already won the fight. And what you're doing is digging your heels in, fighting with your constituents about a matter a federal judge has ruled on.
She wasn't alone. In fact, we heard from others, not necessarily in a minority community. Members of the Riverside-Avondale neighborhood, seen here through Sky 4, are upset that their one council district could be divided up into 3.
And my concern is if it's split in 3, that it will not get the representation that it deserves.
And after hearing from the public, the council began the work of changing the maps and moving some of the lines in neighborhoods. Council members were concerned about their districts.
Basically, I was drawn out of my district. And so at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we, keep the neighborhoods together because, again, it's a confusion with the residents and the businesses that are in those communities.
We also learned at the end of the meeting that the council's maps under consideration could actually lead to less minority representation. Daniel Henry, who heads up the Duval Democratic Party, says that should never happen if they follow the judge's order.
That's false.
In what way?
The plaintiff's map and the VRA analysis that they provided clearly showed that it would create 4 minority access districts with the ability of an African American or minority to be able to be elected in a possible 5th district.
But the work's not done. Instead of using race to determine boundary lines, the committee can use political party registrations. For example, have a set number of registered Democrats or Republicans in an area. So I asked Council President Freeman about that.
Now that race is not an issue, but you heard him talking here, but you're using politics or parties as an issue, or not an issue, I'm sorry, as a determining factor. Is there any difference?
Well, Jim, what we're really using is going off of the maps that we started with, and we are trying to build this process out with my colleagues that's going to be legal, it's going to be lawful, and it's going to be transparent. And as I said, today was a good day. It is a day that we have generated a lot of momentum, the work of my colleagues, the voices of the people, and I really look forward to continue that momentum into tomorrow.
And tomorrow will be the final day that the redistricting committee meets. But tomorrow night, they are having a public hearing on that. They're calling it a map chat. And then on Friday, the full city council is going to get together at 9 a.m. in the morning, and they will vote on that proposed map. And by the way, there's still federal court action going on with the city filing some motions again regarding that whole case. So this isn't over with at this point. We're live downtown. Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station.